Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. This is my belated September wrap-up video. As I've mentioned in a couple of videos, I came back from Ireland very much under the weather. I was really knocked down for the count by some kind of a virus, and I'm just really late to getting around to putting together this video about the events that I participated in September. So I wanted to do that today before October gets to be too old. So in September, I participated for the first time in Shaketember, and I'm going to list the hosts for this wonderful event in my notes below. This was a month-long reading event devoted to reading certain plays by Shakespeare and also certain works about Shakespeare. Before my trip to Ireland mid-month, I had read and talked about on the channel my reading of King Lear and also my reading of Twelfth Night. I was about to start when I left for Ireland. I was about to start my rereading really. These are all rereads for me. My reread of Macbeth. And I haven't spoken yet about my experience of rereading Macbeth here, so I wanted to do that today. I think that Macbeth and Hamlet probably are the two plays that I have read and reread the most, because they are both plays that I taught throughout my career. The last several years, maybe the last 12 years of my career, I was not teaching Macbeth because of the courses that I was teaching, but I was teaching Hamlet every year in those courses. But prior to that, I taught Macbeth every year since I started to teach. I think it is a very accessible tragedy, maybe one of the most accessible. It's also a great play for the spooky season because it has a lot of supernatural events in it. It opens with three witches chanting over their cauldron. They speak in weird and mysterious riddles and paradoxes. Fair is foul and foul is fair, as they plan for their future meeting with the great war hero Macbeth. The opening scene of any Shakespearean play is always important because it introduces important themes and motifs that are going to be present throughout the rest of the play. This scene is no different. It tells us that we are entering into a world where the potential for evil is very real. And we're also in a world where appearances can be very deceiving. Things are not always as they at first appear. What appears fair may in fact be foul, and what appears foul may turn out to be quite fair. Macbeth, the Thane of Glamis, has been enormously successful on the battlefield, defending his king, King Duncan, against Norwegian invaders. And the king is now preparing to reward his loyal Thane with a new title, the Thane of Cawdor. Then Macbeth, on his way home, meets the three weird sisters, the witches, and they address him by three titles. The title he already holds, the title he is about to be awarded, and the title of king. Macbeth interprets these greetings as prophecies of his great destiny. Further, he believes, because of other things that the witches tell him, that he will be invincible and cannot be harmed by anyone of woman born, which he interprets to mean that no one can harm him at all, ever. What follows is the tragedy of Macbeth, whose unbridled ambition causes him not to wait to see if these prophecies will come true on their own, but rather to take them into his own hands and make them come true. Further, he is egged on and encouraged by his wife, Lady Macbeth, whose ambition may, in fact, exceed that of her husband. It's an exciting, violent, and often gruesome play. It contains supernatural elements in the form of the witches and also ghosts and weird hallucinations of bloody daggers inviting Macbeth to do dastardly deeds, and blood stains on hands that cannot be wiped away. We watch the psychological deterioration of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth as they become committed to doing horrific deeds in order to solidify their own power. It was one of my favorite plays to teach. Long ago, I took a group of students into New York to see Christopher Plummer play Macbeth to Glenda Jackson's Lady Macbeth, which was an incredible sight to behold. Most years, though, we had to resort to showing different movie versions of the play to go along with our reading of it, including the gruesome version by Roman Polanski. I was also participating in September in Framed, the art reading event. For this event, I read Patrick Bringley's All the Beauty in the World, the Metropolitan Museum of Art and Me. This is a beautiful memoir. Bringley quit his job at the New Yorker when he was in his mid-20s in the wake of his older brother and hero's death from cancer. And he took a job as a guard at the Met. He describes the decision to leave his job and take up his post in the museum here. Just going to read a little passage. I was 25 years old. I joined the rapid, heedless foot traffic of Midtown, uncertain in the broadest sense of where I would go. Not to the nearby skyscraper with the high-flying desk job I'd been lucky to get but could no longer stomach. Not along any path, I thought, that would find me scrapping and scraping and muscling my way forward through the world. I had lost someone. I did not wish to move on from that. In a sense, I didn't wish to move at all. In the Philadelphia Museum of Art, I had been allowed to dwell in silence, circling, pacing, returning, communing, lifting my eyes up to beautiful things, and feeling sadness and sweetness only. I rocked with a car full of weary passengers on the Brooklyn-bound subway home. An idea was beginning to take shape in my mind. For years, I had noticed the men and women who worked inside New York's great art museum, not the curators hidden away in offices, the guards standing watchfully in every corner. Might I join them? Could it be as simple as that? Could there really be this loophole by which I could drop out of the forward marching world and spend all day tarrying in an entirely beautiful one? I walked along Brooklyn's Fifth Avenue, passing a half dozen taquerias on the way to my third floor walk-up. By the time I turned my key in the door, it all felt remarkably simple. In the fall of 2008, I took up my post in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. He would go on to spend 10 years working as a guard there. The rest of the book is his meditation on dozens of works of art and the power in giving ourselves permission to stop and simply adore. Bringley has a special love for sacred art, even though he himself is not religious. And I appreciated those meditations the most, I think. I think the sacred art puts him most in touch with his feelings about the loss of his brother, the loss that inspired this career change and the writing of this book. The sacred art that he writes about reminds us, as he writes, quote, that we're mortal, that we suffer, that bravery in suffering is beautiful, that loss inspires love and lamentation, close quote. He goes on to talk about the work of sacred art, quote, to put us in direct touch with something we know intimately, yet remains beyond our comprehension, close quote. All of the works of art discussed are listed at the back of the book with their accession numbers, so you can find the artworks at the Metropolitan Museum's website. And there are also links to all of the works discussed in this book on Bringley's own website. One of the prompts for the Framed event was to go somewhere and take in some art. And so I virtually went to the Metropolitan to view the artworks that Bringley was writing so eloquently about in this memoir. Additionally, I also visited a great deal of incredible art and architecture while I was in Ireland. But mostly right now, I just want to talk for a few minutes about the experience of visiting the Book of Kells at Trinity College in Dublin. This was quite simply magnificent. The Book of Kells is an 8th century illuminated manuscript of the 4 Gospels of the New Testament, written most likely around the year 800 AD by the monks of St. Columba's Order of Iona in Scotland, though where it was actually created is still up for dispute and discussion. Because so much attention was given to the artwork in this manuscript, it is believed that it was created more as a showpiece on the altar rather than for daily use. It is generally regarded as the greatest illuminated manuscript of any era due to its artwork. It is believed that it was created, at least in part, at Iona, and then brought to Kells to keep it safe from Viking invaders around 795. The monks of Iona abandoned their abbey in Scotland when 68 monks were killed by the Vikings, and they relocated to Kells, most likely taking the book with them and probably finishing it there. It remained at the abbey at Kells most likely until the 17th century when Oliver Cromwell invaded Ireland. At this time, it was brought to Dublin for safekeeping. It came into the hands of one Bishop Henry Jones, who lived 1605 to 1682. He was an alumnus of Trinity College, Dublin, and he donated the book to the college's library in 1661, and it has been housed there ever since. There is an impressive exhibit at the Trinity College Library explaining this entire history and the making of the book. And after you go through this display, you are invited into a darkened room to view the actual manuscript. The pages are turned every few weeks to show different artwork and different parts of Scripture. There is a guard stationed by the book who keeps the line moving and who prevents people from taking pictures. This was a magnificent experience of viewing a breathtakingly beautiful artwork. So that is my belated September wrap-up. Thank you for your patience. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.